Hello. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Kat Colorado.
And I'm Gabby Coburn.
And this is
Besties Unfiltered.
Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome back. Welcome. That was a show.
Oh.
I don't know which one, but it was a popular show back in the day.
Welcome back. Like an older.
Yeah. We're talking late 90s here.
On like one of those, what was the late Nick at Night?
Probably.
Did you ever watch Nick at Night?
I watched it all. Nick at Night.
Nick at Night was
I was
like
a big Barney girl when I was really little.
Yeah, but like Nick at Night was Nickelodeon, but it was at night, and it was like it would show like I Love Lucy, The Monsters.
I Love Lucy.
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Didn't watch that.
Okay. It's all black and white.
But I did watch I Love Lucy.
I'm like a big black and white fan.
What was the Andy Griffith
show?
Yeah, that was another one.
Yeah, like that.
I'm trying to think of like black and white shows. The kids are like, fan. What's that?
I know. No, I loved it. I really did. Then there was like the Brady Bunch.
Mm-hmm. Partridge Family was before, I think.
Yep.
Brady Bunch. I didn't watch that, but I know that was a thing.
They're all good. Really good shows.
I loved Family Matters. I loved Seventh Heaven. It was like a huge thing.
I forgot about Seventh Heaven.
That was great. That was where Jessica Biel had like her first start. And what was the other one? Beverly Mitchell. They were like the older sisters. Good times. Babe, shout out to all those throwback
that was
shows.
amazing. Actually, something came out about. Do you remember? Oh, it was on Disney. Like Stevens.
The Stevens. Meet the Stevens.
Meet the Stevens.
I think so.
With Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Something came out about his sister.
Ren.
Yeah,
she's also Kim Possible.
She is. Mm-hmm. That's right. I remember finding out like back in the day I was watching Kim Possible. I was like, oh, her voice is so good.
She's so fun.
But something recently came out about her kind of talking about child actors and how they're treated and like coming forth about a whole bunch of things. I have to read up on that, but I recently saw that.
That's great. I think her, Drew Barrymore, talk about like child stars. Like it's just crazy like their journey. The girl from iCarly, Sam, she also went through a whole thing with like her parents. Like it's a whole thing. If you want to get into it, a lot of them have their like books, like biography books. I don't want to say Sam's title, but Google it. It's a really crazy title, and the backstory and that is pretty crazy too, because it's about her parents and her upbringing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things and like Miley Cyrus went through some things, like
all the Disney kids for sure.
Yeah, come on Disney, step it up a bit.
It's a little crazy. I don't know who really had the best. I feel like Zendaya had like the best kind of outcome of that.
I don't know.
She's doing so well. She did like a dance like friendly show with Bella Thorne, who's complete opposite turnout.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of like who like kind of went through a better phase.
Zac Efron.
I think he had like a drinking problem.
Oh.
He's better in thriving now.
Yeah, like he has his own show.
Yeah, I love his show.
I didn't know he had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now he's better.
Now he's great.
He was in a really bad, like I think motorcycle accident. And had to like do like reconstruction of his face.
And people were saying he got stuff done, and it was because of an accident. Because I think he got an infection, so then it made it worse.
Yeah, but like if you look at him, like it looks.
He's still hot.
Yes.
More chiseled jaw.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's okay. It slides.
Have you seen Baywatch? He's so cute.
Zac Efron.
Short king to the core.
Yeah. So today we wanted to get a little bit deep with you guys and share some of our most embarrassing stories to maybe
get to know us
better and to show you that we are human and just real people living.
Or how we thrive in bad situations.
Yeah. And how to turn around. When I get embarrassed, my face turns red. Like I am one of those people that anything, and even if it's something I shouldn't be embarrassed about, like let's say I made a mistake and I said, I don't know, I missaid a word. Okay. And they're like, oh, what did you say? Like sometimes I'll get embarrassed and like my face will turn red. I can feel it. And then I'm like, I'm heating up, I'm sweating. And then the worst part is when they're like, your face is turning red. I'm like, no crap. Like I know. Yeah, like literally, like I can feel it. I'm 130 degrees.
I don't think I flush. I think I just like either laugh in a different way. Like I'll have like a embarrassing laugh and try to laugh it off, or I'll just have like my face shows everything, not red wise, but like if I'm embarrassed, I'll be like, I'm very expressive with my facial expressions.
Okay, yeah. So I'm.
Yeah.
Well, at least you can kind of help that. Can you help that? Like
In what
when
way?
you get embarrassed, like can you like
try not to show it on my face?
Yeah, try not, or no. It just automatically happens.
Automatically, my face will just
see. That's how I feel with my face. It turns red. But I've been trying to tell myself, like when I was younger, it happened a lot often, and I don't know if it's like the upbringing that I had was like, oh, you need to be perfect kind of thing, or like I don't know, I just had the expectation. And so I don't know if I was like embarrassed because I was like, oh, I'm not meeting that standard. But now as I'm older, I just tell myself like it was a mistake, like that's okay to have mistakes.
Yeah, it happens. Do you ever talk about cultural upbringings? Did you ever feel kind of insecure saying Spanish words, like talking? Because like, Spanish was my first language, but obviously now I speak English fluently as well.
Yeah.
And there's still some words that I'll get confused or I'll mispronounce, and then my cousins will be like, "This is how you say it. That's not it." Or like your parents will like correct you, and I'm like, "I'm doing my best."
Yeah.
Like, sorry if I said one word like a little off. You understood me.
Yeah, I don't get embarrassed because I think like just from the get-go, I was always like when I went back to Argentina every summer, I was always introduced as like the American cousin. So I was like, like, oh yeah. And like people would look at me like, oh, you look like you're from America. I was like, my parents are from Italy and Argentina. Like I couldn't look more like you guys. Like we all look the same. But I guess it's like the style that you carry and like how
like the foreigner, or sometimes too, like Venezuela, that's where my parents are from. They have a lot of different accents within the different cities in Venezuela. So it's like, I'm a Caraqueña, which means you're from Caracas. There's people up from Maracaibo, they talk completely different. So then they'll be like, oh, you talk like you're like the privileged girl from Caracas. And I'm like, what does that even mean? So you have the different kind of personalities too that come within each city. So it's like, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and lately I've been messing up a lot on words in Spanish, and I need to get back on that. Like, if you can speak 2 languages, keep practicing. Because I feel like as we get older, it's getting harder for me
My nephew just started learning more and more Spanish, and now we're talking to him more. Like, if he's at our house hanging out, we'll start talking more. He understands it really well, but I think he gets kind of shy talking about it. He's like, oh, I sound silly, like, saying Spanish words, but he's getting a lot better at it.
Oh, good.
I think when they're younger, it's a little bit easier, too. Like, at least with us, thankfully, it turned out well with my parents talking in Spanish at home.
Yeah, I mean, my brother and I too, and we're not doing that with our boys, and we need to. I keep telling Nico we need to talk.
It's hard. It's hard when in your house you speak mainly English, and you know, like going back and forth is also really confusing too. So
I know.
I give you props.
We'll try. Well, let's get to it, and let's just share our deepest, darkest, embarrassing stories we have for you today. Kat, why don't you lead it?
I'll keep it with the childhood trend as we're going. So I have 2 kind of from like middle school time period. So there was a trend back in the day, like I don't know if you remember, where like you would get like your hair wrapped if you went like to the Bahamas or like any tropical place, you'd get like the little wrap thing or like beads put in. So I didn't want to commit and like try to do like the beading thing, not the beading thing, the like the thread thing myself. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like a bead kit and do it myself. And I had like that Barbie thing where it would like do a braid and like spin and your hair would get like super tangled.
You like put it in like 3 little hooks and it would just spin around. I totally forgot about that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did the braid fine, and then you put in the beads however you want, and then you would like clip the bottom with like this like little like fragile plastic thing. And somehow my school was able to let me wear that because you could wear hair clips and stuff, and they said it was fine, so I wore it. Again, my middle school was very strict, Catholic schoolgirl, like very like to the T uniform. So I was just very like, oh, me being stylish and on trend, let me just like bring beads in. Turns out that day that I decided to do the bead hairstyle, we had to do this like presentation in front of like the 8th graders who were like the cool kids because they were the oldest in school.
What grade were you in?
I was maybe like 3rd or 4th grade, maybe.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, I want to say 3rd grade. Okay. 2nd or 3rd maybe, because I was a little younger. And I had a little bob. I had like a little bit shorter than Gabby's haircut too. Like I just had like a blunt bob when I was younger. We're like performing our song or whatever in front of this class. I don't know why they make us do that. And then all of a sudden, I just feel something in my hair and all the beads just come down.
No.
And it's not like carpet flooring, like it was like a tile, so you just hear all the beads going everywhere. And I thought people were gonna start slipping, like I thought it was gonna be this whole domino effect, but then everybody just started laughing, and then I just started picking up all the beads off the floor. It was like a whole thing, but then I was like, screw this, whatever. I picked up the beads, put them in the trash, and then kept singing.
Oh, good
I brushed it off. I was like,
yeah. I can't.
I probably made the show better.
That's rough. Like that at that age, like in front of people, in front of like people you guys like looked up to, like, you know, doing something.
Making a memorable impression.
You got out of that one okay.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, looking back on it, it was memorable. Like I still remember it to this day. But that was probably my more embarrassing thing that happened when I was younger.
I had one when I was younger, too. Okay. I was going to my, I want to say 3rd grade class. Mm-hmm. And
what's about 3rd grade?
3rd grade's a rough year. Like, it's like that transition, like you're kind of out of the baby stage and you're getting into like, okay, you're a little bit older now. It's time to really learn things. I don't know, more like intense things.
Right.
But it was in 3rd grade and I had I don't remember who dropped me off at school, and everyone was running late because the bell was going to ring. Yeah. And I was like daydreaming or something, walking to class, and I walked to a different pod. Like I walked to a completely different building, and if they're all the same, they all look exactly the same. Walked into the different pod, walked into the different classroom, and just stood there, and everyone was already sitting down. It was a classroom. I didn't know who it was, and I didn't even know the teacher, and I was just like, oh my God. And so like I walked out and I was like, well, what do I do now? Yeah. Everyone's in school. The school's like empty, like the hallways. Okay. So I walked. I was so embarrassed. Like I just so embarrassed. So I walked to the nurses station or nurses room. Yeah. And I just told her my stomach hurt and I went home.
Well, like, at that point, it was probably like from all the fuss.
But like, that's something so silly. Like I could have just walked to my classroom and like, but I don't, it was that like a moment of like, I didn't even realize it until like, imagine just like looking up and you're like, you're in 3rd grade, you don't know, you see, and I was like, oh my God, am I in the right school? Like, who is this?
Where am I?
But yeah, that was probably, like, and it stuck with me. So.
Another childhood thing. I can't like take myself seriously when I say these things. I did the school talent show.
I gotta hear this.
I was just so excited to wear this outfit. It was like a bright purple, like lavender sequin dress, like feathers all over the bottom border, like literally ballroom dress.
Oh
like,
my God,
not as like expensive. This probably was like from like Party City back in the day. But it was like mermaid vibes and then like a boa like around the whole bottom of the dress. I had a feather boa as well in my audition. And I was like what better music to do than Let's Get Loud by Jennifer Lopez.
You chose Let's Get Loud?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And I just like danced the entire time. I was like shimmying, doing like a little salsa. Like I literally thought I was in ballroom.
Please
just,
tell
like,
me you have a video of this.
I don't know if I do. I don't think, maybe my sisters might like help me look for it, but I don't know where that is. It's in the archives on like VHS. Yeah. But I did that, and then I made the talent show. I did my thing. I had a moment. It was great. And then the following year, I don't know why my parents didn't like put the 2 and 2 together. I auditioned and did Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera. And if you listen to the lyrics of that song, it is very inappropriate to sing or dance to that song in like a middle school talent show. So they were like, you can do it, but like you have to change your song, like it's inappropriate, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not doing it. They won't let me do my thing, blah, blah, blah. Aww. But I was so upset. I was so upset I didn't even make it to the other one because I was like, this is a song I chose to do. You're not letting me do it. So I was like, no.
You got that, like, it like took over your motivation.
So that kind of like annoyed me. But I mean, it was fun.
Growing up is hard, and like going through challenges, like hearing no is hard. I'll lead into now we're going into college. Okay.
There we go.
This was probably the like most embarrassing for me because I still think about it all the time, and it has to do with public speaking, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate.
It's like a fear,
to public speaking and like getting up in front of the class. And now I'm doing a podcast. Like this is how far I've come from this. And I have friends who remember seeing me in this class. It was for humanities. Okay. Humanities 3 was my last one. And during college, I was taking medication for ADHD. I found ways to now deal with it without medication, which is great. And sometimes I'm like, I need like 3 Celsius to like calm myself down. It like helps me get focused. But so in college, I was taking this medication and I had changed my medication. The doctor changed my medication to something else to help me better.
It's kind of hard to.
Yeah. And I was also combined with a depression because my grandparents went through a very traumatic death that happened, almost like an accident. But anyways, I was going through a lot. I really was. And I had to do like a 30-minute presentation for humanities or something. I don't remember. I just remember it being really long and like longer than we normally had. And so with the medication, my mouth would get really dry. I got up there, and as soon as now I'm getting dry, I'm like, oh my God, thinking about it, I'm getting all anxious. So I got up there, and we had to be at the podium and start talking, and I had my script, and I forgot everything. Like, I had my talking points, but I forgot everything. Yeah. Like, my face started turning red. Out. I blacked out. My mouth got so dry, I couldn't even say like, hey, like, I need a minute, I need water, nothing. Like, I just stood there and froze.
I like feel for you.
It was the most like hard, like embarrassing. And I was like, I can't do this. And I just sat down. Aww. Didn't get an A at all in that class, but it was the hardest. The teacher made me, like, he allowed me to like do a report instead and turn that in. And I think he gave me like a C, like pass.
I'd take it.
But it was the most, and like just seeing everyone in that class, and like I'm friends with some of those people. Like one of my best friends, Danielle, was in that class. She's like, yeah, I remember that day. I was like, don't talk about it. But after that, I was like, I'm never coming back. I'm never going to get up in front of the class. I'm never going to get in front of people and talk. But so what I did was like, no, I'm not going to let that like overtake my whole life. And, so I started including myself in jobs and in different groups that made me step out of my comfort zone and like talk to people. And
go girl.
I
put yourself out there.
Yeah. I became the MC of some of the like college sports game.
So maybe it was something good. Something good came out of it.
Yeah. Like in like some of the basketball games, like I have the one with the microphone in the middle of the court and be like, all right, now we're going to play a game at the halftime. MC. Yeah. And I did that. I joined our influencer groups. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of, it was very embarrassing. Maybe it was very hard, but
something that had to happen in order for you to kind of branch out and do more.
Yeah. So if you're in a moment where you have to give a presentation, whether it's at school or at work, or even just in a meeting with like top management, like it's okay to feel anxious. Yeah. And it's okay to like, not feel comfortable, but when you're uncomfortable, that brings like, something good's going to come. Yeah. But something good can come out of it too. So just breathe.
Ta-da.
Yeah. Just
look
breathe.
At her now.
I still get nervous. Like I still get hella nervous when like in top meetings, interviews, like anything, but yeah.
You push through and then you become successful doing it. And more comfortable as you go.
Yeah. Do you have any more?
I feel like
it's time to switch off of me because it's
I'll do like trauma. A more funny, like lighthearted one. Okay, so this happened to me more recently, and it was just one of those things where thankfully nobody noticed that I know of. Nobody noticed, but it was like in that moment I was like panic mode, like what do I do? So I was literally sitting at brunch, and it was me and my boyfriend, and then another couple, also really close friends of ours. I was sitting, I don't know, I think I was wearing a skirt and just like a t-shirt top that I could just like tuck into my skirt. And skirt. Thankfully it was a skirt, but my underwear, for some reason, it was one of those that was like seamless and there's only like a seam on each side, but you still can't see like the sewing part because like it lays flat on your side. So I don't know if it was the angle I was sitting, for whatever reason, it was like pressed, like very fitted, and the side seam, I just felt like pop, like open.
Of your underwear?
Yeah. And it just, God. Like, I felt it, and I was like, wait, like something's off.
It like became like looser?
Yeah, so like literally, thank God I had skirts and not a skirt. So I was like holding my thighs together as tight as possible. Like literally my underwear is like half off at this point. I'm next to my boyfriend who was maybe like 3-4 months into the relationship at the time.
I thought you were going to say 3 or 4 drinks in.
No, I needed a drink, but no, it was brunch, so I just had coffee by then. I didn't even have, because I don't like mimosas, like, I needed a drink at that point, but I did. I was figuring out what to do.
So
I was like, I don't know how I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick, like, touch up. I brought my purse, like, just to kind of, like, hide if like something were to happen. I never take my purse to the bathroom, so I don't know. They didn't care. I took it, but in my opinion, I was like, oh, they probably think it's weird. I brought my purse with me. Whatever.
Oh, I know. Bringing your purse to the bathroom, I just feel like everyone's like, oh, she's on her period.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah. So I was like kind of like shuffling, holding my legs together as I'm walking. So I was walking super weird,
like squeezing your belly,
because I didn't want like my underwear to literally fall off in the middle of the restaurant.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine?
I was shuffling to the bathroom. Thankfully, I wasn't that far from the table. Literally just took the rest of my underwear off. I threw it in the trash. Like, I put, like, some random paper towels over so nobody see my underwear in the trash.
Oh, my gosh.
I had to go bottomless the rest of that day or afternoon. So
that's embarrassing.
Nobody really noticed. I mean, I wasn't in a skirt, because I would have been even more uncomfortable without underwear the rest of that afternoon.
Wow.
And I was okay.
Well, you made it work, and
I did it somehow.
Okay, well, I have one that I told Kat I wasn't going to share because I was really embarrassed about it. And if this person listens to this podcast, I'm be even more embarrassed. But I was at a kid's house that I liked.
Okay.
I was in my last years of college, I guess, college was like 5 years for me. I don't know when it was. And I was on my period. Mm-hmm. And I went to the bathroom, changed, whatever, and left. He went to the bathroom right after me and comes out and tells me, you left something on the seat. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you left a little bit of blood on the seat. I was like,
I thought it was like the tampon or something.
No, I didn't. But still, like, that's embarrassing. It must have been like, I don't know what happened, but like, okay, this is a kid I like.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole bathroom
they're very, like,
thing.
immature when it comes to that stuff, because they don't know.
But I was just like, sorry, like, I don't know. And then that was it. I didn't like him anymore after that.
Did he say anything else after? Or did he like expect you to like go back and like clean it? Like, what?
No, he didn't. He just walked away.
Why did he say anything though at that point? You know, like on his part.
I'm embarrassed about it.
I'm glad you didn't talk to him again.
Yeah, it's over.
It's more embarrassing for him to be like, you left blood on the seat, than like you. I thought it was going to be like the whole tampon, or like you forgot to flush or something.
I know, like that would have been really bad. Yeah. No, I think I flushed. Oh my God, like, I think I flushed.
Nosebleed or something. Like,
on the toilet seat? Oh, maybe. Sorry, my nose is bleeding. It fell on the toilet seat.
You never know.
I had a cut on my butt. Yeah. I don't know.
Come on, dude. Be mature.
It was pretty bad. And now I mean, whatever. I don't care. I laugh about it. But yeah, so that was my last.
I'm glad you shared that though. So see, it wasn't so bad, was it?
No, it wasn't so bad.
You were better off.
Who better to share with all my besties, right?
Hey, if you have any embarrassing stories, please share with us. We actually have a form in our link in bio of our Instagram. Fill out that form, share your stories, let us know where you're at. If you have any questions, we'd love to answer them on the episode.
Yeah, and don't forget to like our video and subscribe to all our podcast channels that we have. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. And like us on Instagram or follow us on Instagram. And we'll see you next week.
Bye. Have a Thursday.